I recently read an article from Be the Change Career Consulting titled The Importance of Building a Community During a Job Search. It's a wonderful article that reminds us that without community in our lives, sharing our accomplishments and even our setbacks can be a very lonely place. You should read this article for yourself, but today I thought it'd be fun to go over this article with the lens for those of you that are teachers looking to break out into a career with an education company. I'm Carrie Conover, the founder of Educators to Educators, and I'm also the creator of the course Classroom to Boardroom. I've been in education for over 21 years now. I started my career in the education division of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. I spent then 10 years teaching 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in Chicago Public Schools. I spent 5 years working my way up through customer success at 2 different ed tech companies, and today I'm the founder and CEO of Educators to Educators. Let's get started talking about community building in your search for a new role in the education industry. Let's start with talking about networking. Networking, as they state in the Be the Change article, can conjure up a lot of feelings of negativity for some people, just makes them feel uncomfortable. They suggest that we change the word networking to community building, and I absolutely love that mindset. I couldn't agree more, especially with the power of social media these days. It's more about building a community of like-minded people than it is about networking. LinkedIn is a fabulous space to start, especially if you're out there exploring careers at education companies. In LinkedIn, you can find smaller communities that you can join or big, powerful communities. Or you can even start a community of your own. One of the first things I do in the Classroom to Boardroom course is ask students to go create a LinkedIn profile. This is often kind of a strange feeling for teachers and educators because most teachers are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. That's though for more teaching related content. Heck, I built Educators to Educators, a conference with 16,000 teachers all on Instagram. So I know the power of those social media networks. LinkedIn is where it's really at if you want to build a community for finding that next job at an education company or in the ed tech industry. Once you have that LinkedIn account, you can let the community building begin by just finding other educators who are also in the same place as you. Many times, new teachers, I see them when they're trying to make this transition to connect with all these other recruiters and people at the ed tech companies. And while that's important, I would argue that your connections to other educators also trying to leave the classroom and get a job in the education industry is more powerful. The next benefit of building community in your ed tech job search is motivation. The process from going from a teacher to an ed tech employee, that entire process looks different for everyone. A few lucky educators find the process to be super short. They have a job before they can even resign from their teaching position. This is very rare. I want to make that clear. That is so rare that I see a teacher just boom, get a job right away. So it takes time and it can be a very long journey for some people. So it's different for everyone and your motivation is going to go up and down. There are going to be weeks where you are super motivated and you're working on your resume, you're networking, you're building community, you're interviewing. And then you're going to have small little setbacks and blows here and there. Maybe a phone screen didn't go the way you had hoped, or maybe you got really close to the end of the process and almost got hired, but someone was chosen over you. Those blows can be hard. But if you have a solid, good community, they're going to pick you up during those tough times and get you motivated again. So building a community and having people that you can lean on and share your insights and your highs and lows with and people that can cheer you on is very powerful. Communities motivate one another, and I see this every single month in our Classroom to Boardroom group coaching session. The new members almost always email me after the first session to say, "Oh my goodness, I did not realize that I wasn't alone in this journey. I thought I was out here all by myself, and to be in a large community of people that are also going through the same trials and tribulations that I am going through, I can't tell you, Carrie, how much I felt like home. I mean, they say things like that to me because they have been at this alone, and now they're part of people who are doing that same work with them. This work can be isolating, so find a community that is going to motivate you. In this article, the next topic they talk about is brainstorming, and I thought this was super interesting. They say brainstorming ideas are also among the highlights of a well-built community. The benefits of brainstorming are vast and varied. Brainstorming builds participation, commitment, loyalty, and interest. And I couldn't agree with them more. Building community during your job search is important, but it is happening at every level of ed tech. I've worked in nonprofit education. I've worked in a large urban district. I've worked with 2 education companies. I now own an education business myself. And I'm telling you, this networking is happening at every single level. This type of community building is happening behind the scenes. I see them in smaller communities, customer success communities that are coming together. I'm seeing them, come together in, even CEOs come together in ed tech arenas to talk about how they can sell better to schools, serve students. Shoot, I see big companies merging to come together to brainstorm ideas for how to better serve children in school districts. And this should also be happening in your job search. So if you find a community, you can ask them to look at your resume. How can I make my resume more noticeable? We do this every month in our classroom to boardroom group coaching calls. People bring their resumes up and we do an activity that I lead to help people get that feedback they need to take their resume to the next level. We talk about things like, what should I do? What should I wear? I have a Scholastic interview coming up. What should I wear for that interview? We break down job postings and talk about what they're actually looking for. We talk about things like, should I take that contract position? Is this the right pay for me? These are all conversations we're having in our community, and I really urge you to find a community, whether it's classroom to boardroom or another one, where you can have these conversations and brainstorm together. Finally, having a community surrounding your job search, surrounding your transition from being in the classroom to working for an education company will build your self-esteem and confidence. My favorite growth in our community of job seekers is the amount of self-esteem and confidence our candidates quickly gain, either through conversations with me or conversations within the community. And that confidence really starts to grow. You need to find a community of people who are going to hear you and listen to your ideas and listen to your feedback as much as you're taking in advice from them. There's nothing worse than joining a group and feeling that nobody sees you or that your voice isn't heard. If you're in a community, maybe you've built a smaller community of people on LinkedIn that you talk or message. Maybe ask them to jump on Zoom with you once a month to share ideas. Give everyone 5 minutes and a chance to share out and talk about what you're going through. Our C2B community has grown and grown, but even in our monthly calls, we use breakout rooms to ensure that everyone gets a chance to speak and to be heard. Searching for a job in ed tech means you're going to have to be camera ready. You're going to have to be able to jump on a camera on a Zoom call and have initial screenings. You're going to have longer interviews with a camera. You're going to have to do presentations and performance tasks. And being part of a community that does get online together and talk will allow you to gain confidence and self-esteem and practice those, not only your virtual speaking skills, but your virtual listening skills as once. And hey, you're going to really get to know those personal cheerleaders along the way. There are many EdTech communities forming on LinkedIn right now, so I suggest you start reaching out and being part of one of those communities. You could even start a community of your own. But there's always room for you in classroom to boardroom as well. I'd say the number one reason teachers join classroom to boardroom is for the content and the lessons to get an edge up on their job search, but they stay for the community. You can join Classroom to Boardroom in two ways. You can go all in and purchase the entire course and get going, or you can pay monthly and get a module a month and kind of ease into the learning. And you always, in both situations, the full course or the monthly, get full access to our job board that I update almost daily. You get access to our online private chat community, as well as access, and you are invited to be part of the live community in our monthly meetups. Seen here, please make sure you follow Classroom to Boardroom. You are following us on social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. We're very active there. And I really appreciate you joining me today. I wish you all the best of luck in your transition, and I'll see you next time.